I'm Autumn Bensett, founder of the Bossy Babe brand, fitness coach, and serial entrepreneur turned intuitive life and business coach. The Wealthy Babe podcast is for the ambitious, courageous, and spiritually charged up woman in network marketing, craving wealth not only in her bank account, but in every aspect of her life. Get plugged in here each week for authentic and unfiltered conversations from myself and industry leaders who are going to support you and give you all the juicy behind the scenes and real talk around business, spirituality, strong points of view, and doing shit differently. This is a safe space to come undone, be heard, and be given permission to rewrite your own damn rules. So here we go.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Babe podcast. Today we have one of my favorite humans ever, Shawna I. Did I say that right?
It was really close. I'll give you that. Polisiani.
Okay. Polisiani. All right, now I know. I've always been saying it. Now I can't say it the way I was saying it. Now I can't say it the way.
That was one of the better pronunciations I've ever heard, though.
Nice. So I'm glad I kind of half nailed it.
Yeah, half nailed it. Great.
Half nailed it. Well, you guys, Shawna's the babe without a bio, but I love her. And she is my badass graphic designer, and she slays all things graphics for me. When you're checking out this podcast, you're looking at any of my stuff on my page, this is the girl who does it, because I know I'm always getting 1,000,001 questions asking, who does your graphics? Who does all your branding? And it is this girl. So I said, I need to have you on the podcast. We need to jam out on all things branding because, it's your jam. You're fucking incredible with all of it. And you take amazing care of every single one of my clients, every single one of my mastermind babes. And I'm just obsessed with you. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, well, thank you, girl. See, that's why I didn't give you one. I wanted to hear all that.
Right? Oh, it was tricky. You're sneaky.
Sneaky, Shawna, getting in there.
You're sneaky. Well,
it.
I always kick this off with one question. And the question is, what are you celebrating right now?
Oh my God, I'm celebrating. I've had 3 months of super high income. So
that's amazing.
I'm number one right now. And I'm not working too fucking hard, which is great. I don't know if you when you can work not crazy hard and make a shit ton of money, that's the best feeling in the world. So
fuck yes. Yes.
It took me 2 years. Well, longer than that, but 2 years to figure that out. So
well, I love that so much, because I think that this is definitely a goal of the women that listen to this podcast is I want to make more doing a little less. So this wasn't even a question on here. This wasn't even the direction I was going, but do you have a tip for that?
More than one source of income.
Yes.
For sure. Because especially with my work, it's very, if you do a logo with me, I'm very involved in that, and that takes time. I need something else in the background that's consistently making me money, something that can be purchased and I'm done with it. You know what I mean? So, something that you really take pride in and you really take care of as a service, but also have those little things in the background that are consistently making you money and that you can always have and always offer to people, no matter what stage they're in.
I love that. Okay. So you have multiple revenue streams outside of just your products and services. So what are the other things that you have that you offer that people can just kind of grab whenever?
So I just started this, and this is why the 3-month thing is so awesome for me. But so I'm coming out with templates for social media. A lot of people use Canva, but they don't Canva doesn't give you the right sizes. It doesn't teach you how to design stuff, whatever. So I'm making these pre-made packages that give you fonts, that give you layouts, that give you basically anything you need to make these really cool covers, templates, for podcasts, for anything really. And they're just going to be a one-time purchase, and you download it and you have it. And it's going to be 9 or 10 templates. So girl, that feed going to be looking good. But yeah, so that's the exciting.
I'm yes, sign me the fuck up for this. I need all things Shawna on my Canva.
I love it. Yes. And Canva's super easy to use. So it's a good deal for people who are a little bit technology challenged, I'd say. So it's perfect for you guys. And then this is a brand new announcement. So you heard it first on Wealthy Babe. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. We're getting some exclusive shit here.
Right? No, I'm starting my own clothing line. So
this is amazing.
That's gonna drop in October.
Oh my goodness. Are you doing it all yourself, or are you outsourcing like the actual production?
I'm doing the designs. Now the material and stuff like that, I'm not doing that. But yeah, all the design is me. So
this is amazing. So it's actually funny. A lot of people don't know it because I transitioned out of doing that business by the time I started life and business coaching, because I just didn't have the space and the time to be doing both in my schedule. But for over a year, I was actually running my own t-shirt company, but I was designing everything. I outsourced and like brought in the t-shirts, but I sat there. I'm not even kidding you. Derek can attest, like he can attest for me. The days that I sat on my kitchen table for 3 hours, hand pressing with my iron, the tip of my little iron, because the whole iron didn't make it stick. So I'd have to use the little tip of my iron. I'd spend 3 hours on one $30 shirt. And I'm like, you can see my hand. No one else can see my hand, what I'm doing, but I'm just like pushing it down and trying to get that quote or whatever, the design on that shirt. And I did that. Oh my goodness. I did that for a good over a year. And it is a lot of work, girlfriend.
It's difficult. But you know what? Like, I would much rather go through that than like, kind of produce just shit that you see all the time, you know, like I want this stuff. It's already my design, so nobody else has it. Like, I wanted something more than just like words on a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, anybody can do that. So I wanted like something really like, that's fucking Shawna. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that part's really cool, but then like you go a step further and you detail the fabric, you detail the cut, you detail like all those little things that you were doing. And that's amazing. Yeah. So you're really selling like your brand, and it comes through in the quality of stuff. So
I love this. Are you going to have an affiliate? Because, girl, you're going to have a lot of girls walking around wearing your shit.
Well, I guess now I am, aren't I?
You're like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, another revenue stream. Check. I love it.
Yes. So, I mean, that's fun for me, though. Like, all this shit, and this is going to go for all the girls that are like, oh, I really want to get on that level. Like, all this shit that you never thought you could do because you were too busy with your 9 to 5 or whatever the excuse was. Like, you get to do all the fun stuff. Yeah. And that's the coolest part. So...
yeah. Oh my goodness. We went off on such a good tangent there. Like, we could just jam up forever, right? That was so good. So honestly, part of this is out of my curiosity, but I'm also sure that everyone else is a little curious too. So can you share a little bit about like how you got into this passion and what maybe your journey looked a little like when like getting into this space?
Absolutely. Okay. So I've always been an artist. I've always been, ever since I was probably like 3 or 4. I don't know. I don't remember that early, but like, I can remember like 8. I'll go back to 8 years old. Like, I was the one like in the family that would draw all the time, that they would give me like the art supplies for Christmas. Like, I just loved it. So I knew at a very young age that this is what I was going to be doing. Kept it up through high school, like got like best artist award in like the yearbook and shit. So I mean, like it was a big thing. Like it was me. So I went to art school, and I had every intention of becoming a fine artist. And then like my mom like kind of started to like get worried about me, which is fine because I'm a kid, you know. And she's like,
because I'm her kid.
Are you gonna make money? What are you gonna do with that like fine art degree? I was like, oh, I'm just gonna fucking paint all the time, Mom. Like, come on. She's like, I think you just need to think about it. So I did. And I was like, you know what? My mom might actually have a solid here. So I ended up taking graphic design courses, and I fucking loved it. I was like, dude, this is sweet. Like, it was drawing, but in like another level. So it was cool. So I ended up graduating from art school, and then, you know, I had internships and stuff that were all kind of corporate 9 to 5 jobs. And, you know, everybody's taught growing up, like, that's what you need. That's what you have to do. That's how you make a living. That's the fucking American dream, right? You have a corporate 9 to 5 and you make money. So I didn't have any like concept of what being a freelance artist would be like, and none of that. So I took a 9 to 5 immediately out of college, and it was rough.
Right?
It was rough. So, I don't want to say anything bad about the company or anything, but like, you know, deep down when it's something is not right for you.
Yes.
I hated being stuck in the same place for 8 hours at a time. I hated the type of work I was doing, because even though you're a creative and you're seen as a creative in that building, like, you're getting told what to do.
Oh my God, we are twins right now.
Yeah, so you know the frustration, and it's something that, like, I don't know, like, I ended up, like, just researching a lot, and I ended up starting kind of my own company on the side just because I was so fucking bored and frustrated, and I had no intention of taking this to where it is today. But I was just like, I need something to, like, keep me at a certain creative level, because just, like, that's who you are. Like, like, you probably have to coach somebody at least once a day, because that's who you are,
100%, yes.
So I ended up taking like these clients just on the side, and I didn't even think of them as clients. I thought of them as like free projects, and then it started to kind of grow, and I'm like, fuck, like, this was probably like a half year into my full-time job. And I'm like, like, this is getting kind of hard. And then I started like researching coaches who had took their thing full time. So I wasn't really finding like creatives like me who had started this, but I was finding people like you, and people like, I ended up finding Kara and all these people that were like, you don't have to live under this like fear of not being able to provide for yourself or whatever without a 9-to-5. So I really started to like get into this like fucking shit. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I was like, I'm going to do it. So I planned it out, and I had this year plan, and I wrote out my, what do you call them? Like your 2 weeks notice. And I wrote about, like, I was like, okay, in a year, and my goal was like, in a year, I'm going to fucking leave this job. And I turned it in the next.
Oh my God. I did the same thing.
I was like, once you have it written out, and like, I don't know, there's like power in like putting whatever you want in words, just whatever.
Yes.
So like I did it, and I was like, I think it was on like a Thursday or a Friday. So I wrote it out and I had it ready. And then like the next week I walked in and I'm like, you know what? Peace out. And that was a year and a half ago. So ever since then I've been doing this, like, and it's great. And that's like the really long ass version of my story. So
ever since 8 years old. all the way back.
Maybe sooner, but I can't remember.
I can't remember. No, you're freaking slaying the game.
Oh, thank you, boo. Thank you, boo. It's fun. I enjoy it. I think we all get those moments where it's like, can I really keep this up? Can I really do this? Like
100%.
Yeah, and you just fucking keep doing it, and it works, so.
And I'm not gonna lie, like, being super transparent, like, I feel like I'm in that season right now, not in an aspect of like, can I keep doing this? Like, is this sustainable? It's like, I know this is fucking sustainable, but you reach new levels in your business, which I you obviously are in as well, because over the past 3 months, like you said, your income has increased in ways like you probably never even thought possible.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm like living in that same thing right now, and then I'm being faced with this opportunity to up level and to reinvest at really massive space that I've never like invested in a single thing. Like, I don't even own a house. Like, like I've never invested this level ever. And it's crazy how every single new level brings that little devil with it. And
absolutely.
It's, you kind of sit there and like, can I keep doing this? Like, is this all going to continue to work out this way? And it's just it's like when you first make that decision, it all comes to trust. It all comes to surrender and just like leaning into it and being like, well, it's in my fucking gut. What am I going to lose? Like, I don't want to have regret at the end of the day. So let's just do the damn thing.
Yep. And it's, I mean, I can't explain it any better than other than just listening to, what your body says and what's going on in your head. Because I mean, don't listen to like fear and shit, but I mean, you just know when you have to do something, and when you have to take that step. Like, if it's something, it took me a long time to figure out with my job, my corporate 9-to-5, because like it was so rare to see that, like, to see somebody, kind of step out of the box and be like, oh my God, like, no, this life isn't for me. But like, I've seen people live with that fear for years, you know what I mean? Like, and I can't do that to myself. I'm like, you gotta get over it. You gotta like at least try. What's the biggest thing that happens? You don't make money, you find another job. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But I mean, if you're putting your heart into something like that, you're gonna make money. Money's 100%. Gonna fucking fly at you. Yeah,
it's just gonna fucking fly at you.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean,
but it's 100%. Like, like you're saying it perfectly. Like there are people who literally spend their entire lives doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it was like the same thing for me. And that's why I was like, oh my God, we're twins. We're the same person, because I was almost like, I was a creative in this job. And, you know, people on the outside are like, oh, you must love your job. You get to be so creative. And I'm in the background being like, I actually like don't love like counting linens that come back from a wedding that have beer spilt all over them. I actually don't love like finding garbage in table toss. Like, I actually don't love ironing for 8 hours a day, but like, yeah, super fun, you know? And I said like the day, I was like 1 year, and I was fucking out of there in less than that. I was like, this is not happening. I'm not staying here. So I love that you put that date down. I think it's important. I think it's important to burn the damn boat, like remove your plan B and just say, I'm all fucking in.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's my personality too. It's just, I'm like, I'm so fucking bullheaded, like to a fault probably, but like, if somebody's like, you can't do that, like, I'm like, watch me, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, it's so bad, but like, that's the way you have to be. I think honestly, that's probably the best personality trait that you can have in this business is just going for it and not worrying.
You have to. Like, you genuinely have to get to a spot where you're just like, yep, watch me, bitch. Now you need to quote that. So as you're making graphics for this episode, can you make a little quote for yourself?
Isn't that like a rap song? Can we put music?
We can absolutely put music to it. So, okay. So for the babes who don't know, because, you know, it's crazy. You're in the business. And now, you know, I'm doing all this stuff with you, but there's so many women that I talk to and that I speak to or come into my groups, or they come into like my masterminds, or they start coaching with me and they're like, I have no idea what the hell branding even is. Like, is branding like my niche? Is branding like, you know, who I'm talking to? Like what the hell is branding? Let's break it down.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big question. That's a loaded question right there. So, I mean, there's a lot with branding that goes on prior to the look and feel of your brand. Now I tend to focus on the look and feel more than the foundations of it. But the foundations are basically, you know, why are you doing what you're doing? Like, who are you? And knowing that to a fucking T, because whatever you're doing, it has to be authentic. It has to be unique, and it has to be completely you, or it is not going to work. Mm-hmm. And just getting all of that down on paper, like who you're talking to, you know, what kind of voice are you talking to those people in? Like, what do you want people to say about your brand when you're not in the room? And that's what branding is. That's a quote that I like learned a long time ago, and I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going to throw it in there.
I love it.
So true. So that's a lot of like the branding foundations is just the strict, you know, what are you doing? Now, when you get into what I kind of focus on, we think about like, who are you, but how do we want that to portray? How do we want that to look? So whoever you are, how are we going to put that into a certain look to give people online, and who's going to be viewing that, and who's going to like that, and who's going to want to work with you because of that? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a really hard thing to understand and like to explain to somebody, but like there's so much power in the way you represent yourself online. Yes. So much power. Yes. You probably can contest to this, but like, whenever you got that new branding, whenever we worked together, like you went up a level for sure.
Everything shifted. Yeah. Everything shifted 100%. And
it's a lot of things all combined into one. It's how you feel about yourself. It's how you feel, presenting your services to somebody else. If you're confident in that, like that's fucking amazing. And that's what branding can do for you. That's what really good branding should do for you. So just taking you to the next level and really representing who you are authentically into graphics. It's great.
No, I love that. And I couldn't agree more. I think especially when I talk to some of my clients and they're getting started and we're just starting to work together and we're starting to work on their branding and getting them to a place where ultimately, like you said, it's about feeling confident in asking for the money that you want to at the level you want to for your services and what it is that you offer. And a lot of the time that when women are coming to me is they're not confident behind asking for money, receiving money, in what it is that they're offering. And it comes into confidence within themselves. And so even though there's those fears and those limitations, like, should I invest in branding? Should I do it every single time? I'm like, do it. Like
Yep.
for the investment, like fucking do it, because it's going to not only put you into this next level container, but you're going to be able to feel confident. Like you said, I think this is the biggest base of it, of asking for what it is that you want, because you're not going to feel like you're, you know, people are coming to your page and it's just like this really weirdly put together thing that you put together on like PicMonkey or Canva. Like I made those. Oh my God. If you guys ever want to go look, you feel free. You go right back to my page, you scroll back and you can see the difference, because it's, I have never taken them down. And I think that really attests for something like,
absolutely.
Like go look. It'll speak for itself on the difference, and everything, like you said, shifted in my branding, in my business, in my messaging, in my confidence, in my pricing, when I got behind a brand that not only was beautiful, but felt like me. Like it was just like so freaking authentic.
Yes. I mean, and that's all I can ask for, you know, is just like, is that you're happy with your brand and you're happy with presenting it to people. Like that's 110% what good branding is. Like,
yeah. Like go to my page, please go look at all the things. Please look.
I love it.
I honestly, you'll send me a picture and I just sit there and stare at it. And I tell you that all the time. I'm like, I can't stop looking at it. It's so beautiful.
I love it. I love it so much. And it's so cool because I know your brand so well now from working with you. Like I know what you like. So it takes me like 5 minutes to get like something together in my brain. I'm like, she's going to love it. I know it.
That's just it. You do. And like, that's why you just slay the game every freaking time with me. And I never worry about it. And so sometimes when like some of my clients are getting work done with you and they're starting to, I'm like, girlfriend, just recognize and remember, like she has to get to know you. She has to know like who you're about, what your feel is, what your brand is. Like it takes a little bit of time. Like they are not in your head the way that, you know, you think that they are.
Yeah,
it takes a little time.
It absolutely does. And I think that's probably one of the biggest frustrations I think people get when they're branding is that like the designer doesn't get it the first time. And that's totally normal. Like I'm saying it for every designer out there and they're going to be like, oh, thank you, God, Shawna. Like, but it's totally normal. Sometimes it takes 5 or 6 tries. Like you can't get frustrated. You just have to, you know, like, what am I saying that's not getting a direct route to the designer? Like, well, how can I say it differently? You know, it's stuff like that. Like communication is huge. Just be in communication with each other the whole time and like shit will happen. I promise you. Like you just got to be patient and really work with it.
Yeah. So how would one begin to kind of find their brand? Does it come down to like these questions you start asking, like you mentioned a little bit earlier? Is it like the visuals? Is it their messaging? Is it their voice? Like where do they kind of begin? Reach out to you.
Yeah, come to me, guys. No, I think like you really have to have a good idea of who you are first. I prefer, like, if I've had to do it before, like if somebody is like really wishy-washy and I'm not getting a good vibe from them, like I have to tell them like, hey, it's not going to be a good match. Like, and I hate doing that, but like, it's honestly, it almost makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm just like, I don't know what you want. And it fucks with my head. So know who you are, know what you like, know what you don't like. It doesn't mean that you have to be like, oh, I want this color, this Pantone color, this foil. Like, no, like you don't have to have all that figured out, but like you should be able to pick shit out. Like, I think the Pinterest mood board is one of the biggest fucking ideas ever because, you know, like I just tell you, you've worked with me, you know this, but like the Pinterest board exercise is where you just go and you pin shit to a board. I don't give you any limitations. I'm like, hey, just if you feel like it represents your brand, if you feel like you get a good vibe from it, pin it. And I go back through and I look through it, and 99% of the time, same colors, same vibes, same things start coming up. There's a reoccurring theme, and like that's a good brand. Like, not saying that you have to build your brand on Pinterest by any means, but if you're feeling stuck, like that's a really good exercise to kind of like be like, oh, like I like this color, I like this foil, I like this vibe. Like it's great. So that's like a really good step to take. Yes. Good.
Well, I hope that all my babes are coming to that, because I'm usually like, okay, let's create a mood board. Let's create branding boards. Let's have a concept. Let's have an idea. So thank goodness.
No, it's awesome because I think most of the girls you send me, they're like, here's my mood board. I'm like, oh, well, shit, girl. Okay. Like,
good. Okay, good. I'm so glad it's helpful because honestly, I've never even asked you. I should have asked you a long time ago. Like, is there anything that they should have?
No, it's so if they don't have one, we do it.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay, good. Well, we're slaying it. We're figuring it out. It's like this telepathic. Yeah, it's working. It's working. Okay, so one thing that, I'm just switching this up a little bit, but one thing that entrepreneurs, bring up a lot is that others are doing what they're doing. And that's what like trips them up. They get stuck in this space because they think like, well, it's saturated and other people are doing what I'm doing, right? Like there's plenty of graphic designers, out in the online space. So how have you leveraged your branding and individuality to create massive success and really stand out online?
Now, when it comes to me and my brand, I think what really works for me is my personality and being online and like connecting with people. Like that has taken me so far, like just connecting with people and not expecting anything in return and just being like, no, I'm just reaching out to you because, we have something in common and I just want to fucking talk and blab on. Like, like it's that, those are the connections that always lead to somewhere, the ones that you never think are going anywhere and it's just whatever. But with my brand, it's definitely been connection and presenting myself online, like how I am. Like I'm very authentic. Like how I am right here, right now is like, you go to my page, I'm the same exact way. Like I'm not trying to hide anything. Like I know I'm loud and obnoxious and like whatever, like it's there, like it's me. So, I mean, if somebody doesn't like the way I present myself, they're not going to like my work almost 90% of the time, like there's a connection that has to happen. And, it's just being authentic, really, like just being yourself. And that's what works for me. So I think if you can nail down, like, you're right, there's 20 million other designers, like, if you can nail down how you're different and what makes you, like you present that, and that whoever is drawn to that is going to work with you. So it's as simple as that. Yeah.
And it might not be with branding, but I'm just going to throw it in a little bit because you treat people freaking incredible. Like you treat them so well. You value every single person. You go over and beyond for them. And I mean, that's a big reason why I'm obsessed with you and why I'm like, I don't talk to a single other designer. I'm like, nope. Shawna's my girl, and all of my girls must go to Shawna. You have to use Shawna. But I wouldn't do that if I didn't trust in who you are and you didn't treat people with like so much love and value and respect and like honestly truly cherish and be grateful for every single person you work with and you honor them. And I love that about you. So I know it's not about just branding, but that's just something you're incredible with, and being able to, honor. Because it's not that me and you don't have like this referral like deal thing. We don't have anything, like there's nothing going on between us with this, but there's just this mutual like love between us. And like, I appreciate how well like you take care of my girls for me. And I'm like, because of that, I'm like, yeah, have it all. Have it all.
I just think that it comes down to being like, and it's apparently rare nowadays, like dealing with people online, but just treat people how you want to be treated. And I know that goes back to like grade school and shit, but it's honestly like, I know when I fuck up, I will tell you, I'll give you free shit if I fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, or I'll give you money back. Like, I'm sorry. Like sometimes it gets rough. Like every entrepreneur has their rough points, So I think it's good to be able to admit when you do something wrong, and it's good to be able to admit, like when you're standing up for yourself, but it's also good to, you just treat everybody with the same type of fucking how you want to be treated, God, like, it's easy as that.
That's simple. Yeah. I love it. It's just like, boom, that's simple, guys. Treat people with some fucking love.
Yeah. And then it's really cool to me too, like, because everybody that comes to me, like, obviously I deal with a lot of branding, a lot of logos, a lot of websites and stuff like that. So everybody that comes to me is in this beginning stage of bringing their dream to life. So I look at every client like that, like, they are counting on me to bring something to life for them. Like, and if you think about it like that, you're like, oh fuck, pressure's on, like better do some good shit. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just how I look at things. And I try to like really, really take my time and give them something really unique and special each time.
And you fucking do every damn time. Every time. So have you ever witnessed like things that maybe some people do with their branding, whether it's with themselves, it's a personal brand, or it's in their businesses that are like no-goes, like this is just something that doesn't work, or they're just kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it, but maybe you see something in that space where you're like, oh, this isn't how, branding should go.
Really there's only two things that really like get me, because every brand is different and every brand works in a different way. But two things really just don't work for any brand, and that one of those is being super negative. If you're constantly online, like talking shit or just poking fun at people, like I don't know. I don't think that works for anyone. I when I see that, like I immediately am turned off. Like I'm just like,
I'm the same way.
Like if you're the best whatever in the world, like you're doing that, and it's like,
yeah,
gone to shit. The second one is just being straight sales. So anytime you're just like, oh, hey, buy this, like not making a case for yourself, especially now, like in the fucking 60s and 70s, it might have worked. Like it was very like fact-based selling. But now it's like you're telling a story. You have a brand. You need to make this a lifestyle. Like how is it going to fit into their life? That's the stuff you need to focus on, not so much just like, special going on 9 for $97.99, so it's tricky. I know there are a lot of product based sales going on right now, so it's tricky, but I try to refrain from the straight sailing.
No, I love those, and I think that's 100% legit. I've had this conversation a couple times with Olivia. Obviously, we both know and love Olivia, right? And then I'm going to take her in here and let her know that we jammed out about her. But we talk about this because there are like people in the online space, and whether they're coaches or they have other businesses or they're network market, like it really doesn't matter what it is that they do. But I'll see them open up conversations of, and it might not be intentional, but they open up these conversations of like negativity or bashing or comparing. And it's just like one of those things where as soon as I see that, I'm like, this is not a vibe I want to like be in. Like, I don't dig this at all. So I totally feel you on such like a soul level that those are just a couple things, like either being full sales and like the spammy sales. Like authentic sales is amazing, but story is a big part of it, and showing up who you are, and then just being a good fucking person. Right. With your heart.
Yeah. It's, and a lot of it is, I think the need for money, and they just don't know how to like get it. So that's like the obvious one, is to just present sales online. So it's just a matter of learning, you got to look at those posts and go like, oh, they have not learned that yet. So it's just, just getting past it and building your business the right way. So.
No, I love that. I think those are really, really great things. To talk about with that. So you also worked with some really incredible brands. We were just chatting about this a little bit before we even popped right on here. Like you worked with Carol Oleva. I always feel like I say it wrong. But like so many other incredible brands, like of all different calibers. So what I'm curious about is like what's allowed you to step into the confidence of feeling capable and ready for this, because I feel like so many women block themselves from success, from doing the things that they want to, because they're scared of like success at that level or working with a certain type of person. And it's like, dude, like you can do it. So I'm just curious, like what allowed you to step into that confidence to be able to work with such high calibers and different calibers of women?
Yeah. I never really at a point was like, I'm not good enough to work for them. That's something that I kind of dealt with like growing up. Like I had a lot, I used to be a bodybuilder, if like you believe this, but like I had a lot of like body issues. So like once I kind of overcame all of that growing up, like this newfound sense of confidence just kind of rose up. And thankfully it happened right about the same time, like, I was getting a job and I was kind of going through that stuff. So I never really dealt with it in an entrepreneurial level. But I will say that, like, if you're having those thoughts, just fucking do it. Like, that's the one thing you got to do. Like, if you're like, oh, I don't know, like, just give it your best. Like, just getting that first draft out there or getting the first thing, like, that's the hard part. Once you get past that, you're going to realize it's a breeze. You're good at what you do. Like, people are paying you because you're good at what you do. And if they can see that, why can't you? Like, that's huge. So, I don't know. Like I just go for it. Like
I love that though. I think that speaks volumes. It's not something that you really dealt with in this particular realm of your life, but it's not something that you didn't deal with at a certain point. And it's just something that you kind of overcame at an earlier time in your life. And I think that's really powerful that when you did step into this, it allowed you just to like fully just take on whatever it is that you want to. And I think it's where our focus and our energy goes. The more that we're focusing on, well, I can't do this, or what are they going to think of me? What if I fail? What if this goes all wrong? And what if I totally fuck this whole thing up and they think this of me? Well, that's what we're going to create. And that's what's going to end up happening. But if you focus on like, fuck yeah, I can do this. Like, hell yeah, I'm an expert. I rock at this. I'm going to slay the game. This is going to be like, let's just do the damn thing. You're going to come out and literally slay the game. Like, it's going to be incredible. You're going to do an amazing job. And it's going to turn out the way that you want to. But I think it's just we get in our own damn heads and we convince ourselves of these bullshit beliefs.
And I will say, like, from a technical standpoint, you know, like, I did have like a background. I had experience. I had all this knowledge of like what programs to use. So if you're at that point, you're like, oh fuck, I don't have like the experience she does. Get it. If it's bugging you that much, go fucking get the experience. You know what I mean? Like, get that first client. Get a degree if that's what you want. Like, just don't make excuses for yourself. You know, like, I think that's the biggest thing too, is that we focus on the negative and then we start to excuse ourselves from these intense situations because we're just like, that's too much. That's not me. But it is, you know, like if you have a feeling of wanting something more, like, it's totally you. You just have to go through with it.
Yeah. So you actually just mentioned something there, but like, just get started. Like, just go get some clients, go get some experience. Do you have any quick tips on how did you start getting your clients? How did you just start putting yourself out there and just like, and honestly, it's probably crazy to think back on it and you're like, oh my God, this did start somewhere.
Totally.
Like,
I think I got my first like client on Craigslist. Like, like, I just fucking like went for it. I don't even know how to explain it other than that. Like, any like outlet, I know for graphic designers, it's a little different because we have like sites and shit that we can use. And Fiverr was one, you know, just like these dumb little sites that you don't get paid much for, but it's like, at least it's something. Or, you know, I did. And then as I got a little bit bigger, I started like asking friends like, hey, I have discounted services for you if you need them. Like, and I did somebody's personal training logo. And then it just kind of like kept spiraling from there. Yeah. So you just got to get your hands dirty. You just got to go for it.
I love that. This is why we connect so well, because I look back on things and I'm like, yeah, I just kind of did it. Like, I just, you know, someone reached out to me once about coaching. I was like, well, sure. And I just made up a package. And
like, there was no plan. And again, like, this is just who I am. Like, I don't have like this big master plan of where I'm going to be in 5 years. And maybe that's my bad, but like,
no, I don't either.
I know where I want to be. And like, that's the only thing that's driving me forward. Like, I'm not a big fan of like, oh, this has to happen on Saturday. This is this thing. And this is like, that's not me. Like, I'm very messy. I'm all over the place, but I know what I want. So, I mean, I have shit going for me. And then my personality of just fuck it, I'm doing it. So that's what gets me places.
And you're such a creative, right? You're just like, there's no plan. I'm just going with the flow. It's just,
you gotta live it. You know, like, if you're going to claim to be creative, you got to live the whole lifestyle. So
yes.
And I'm a Pisces, so that just makes it even worse. So it's just like,
and it's so funny because I'm a Virgo, and it's just like, Virgo is very like naturally like perfectionism. And so I have like certain perfectionist like qualities, but other than that, I'm very much like you. Like, I'm just like, just do the damn thing, screw the plan, because you in the long run, you cannot ever predict what's going to happen on the other side of it. As much as you want to try, you can't. So it's like, why the hell bother? Like, why try? Just do it. Just see what happens.
I always envy those people that can do it though. I'm just like, how does your brain work? Like, even with people that are good at math, I'm just like, what?
Oh yeah. Fuck math. Fuck it. I honestly, that's what took me out of university. I already was like, I'm not digging this. Like, I already spent 4 years, but I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. And then it was my accounting, you know, I just passed my one accounting class. I was taking another accounting class, and I kept failing everything no matter what I did. And I was just like, fuck this shit. Like, I can't, like, I don't want to do all these finance classes. I don't want to do all these number classes. Like, I am not good in this realm. Like, it's just not my thing.
That would have been me if I wouldn't have gone to art school, because there's no way.
There's no way.
Like, high school is enough.
Right? It's not my jam. I'm such a like creative. I'm a like a words type person. I'm an interactive, like, I could slay my marketing classes. Yeah. I could slay those types of things, but these numbers, like, hell freaking no. And that's why I have a VA now who's dealing with all my numbers.
Right.
And she's taking everything over because it's not my zone of genius. Like, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to do everything. Like, if it's not your thing, own that. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not. So
exactly. Yes, I love this. So, is there any last little bits of tips or nuggets or information or inspiration that you have for these women and online entrepreneurs or network marketers when it comes to either creating a brand, stepping into a personal brand, getting started in the space?
Yeah, I would say don't get overwhelmed by it. Branding is one of the most fun things you can do with your business. So keep it that way. It's where you get to express yourself. It's where you get to play with color. It's where you get to do all these things that represent yourself in a visual way. And that should be a lot of fun for you, no matter what stage you're in. So if you're a beginner, if you have a website, but you want to redo it, if you have your shit together already, like always be continually growing, always be continually changing, and just know that branding is never a solid fucking I'm done type thing. Yes. It's ever changing. So yeah, just don't get overwhelmed by it, but let it be, kind of like just, it's a free flowing thing. So yeah, just love it. Love it.
Just love it. I love that. This is amazing. Boom, mic drop. So I'm going to hit you with the same question that I end this off with everybody.
Yes.
What does being a wealthy babe mean to you?
I think it means being happy with yourself, being content with who you are. So.
Boom. That's simple. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's the most simple answer I've had this whole time.
I think so, but I dig it. I dig it a lot. So this is amazing, Shawna. You've killed it. You brought so much fire. This was a ton of fun. This is literally probably one of my most favorite interviews ever because it was so effortless and so easy with you. Now I need to know, because I know all these babes who are listening to this are going to be like, oh my God, I need Shawna in my life. Like, yes, you do. Like yesterday. So where can they connect with you? Where can they find you? How can they work with you?
Okay, so if you want to connect with me, obviously Facebook is probably one of the best ways to just shoot me a message. So it's just my name, Shawna Poliziani. It is also my website, shawnapoliziani.com. And then you can find me on Instagram at Shawna Poliz Design. So
amazing.
Those are the three main ones. Yep.
Amazing. Well, I will steal those from you after we are done recording, and I will put them all in the show notes for the episode when it comes out. Perfect. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Shawna, for being here. And thank you guys so much for listening, downloading, loving the episode, sharing the shit out of it. Because I know you're going to, because it's freaking fire. It was amazing. So anyways, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much, Shawna. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.